Hey guys, time for another episode of Short Side Wristers. I'm No Sleeves 12. On today's episode, we're going to talk about the new HUT content as well as the esports recap for this weekend, which was insane. So let's jump right into it. So let's start with the HUT content that was released. So the Flashback February event was announced where every day next week, or this week, sorry, a new Flashback player will be revealed starting on February 1st with Jeremy Roenick, the 89 Jeremy Roenick. You can find him in packs. It's okay. Like the thing I'm not enjoying about some of the HUT content, I think what they've released is great so far. They've just reused a lot of the same players. So Roenick already has a 91, so I guess this is only really valuable for players that kind of missed out on the Roenick monthly legend. So that's good in a sense. And then the fact that they're releasing a new card each week, anything under a 90 at this point is kind of you're not really giving anything new that players with good teams want to strive for. Now, obviously not everyone has like a super high legend team or anything like that, but it's where you want to get a new content, you want them to be something that you can use for sure. So like a 91, if all of these were 91s, every team could pretty much use them. That's my only thing about them. Now, they're also put back legends into packs. So the 91 Daryl Sittler, the 93 Brian Leach, the 93 Ted Lindsay, the 94 Dennis Potvin, the 95 Jacques Plante, and then the 95 Marcel Dion. The Marcel Dion card looks sick. So just speaking about them quickly, Daryl Sutter, I would kind of avoid. He's just, even when he was released back in, I think it was October, he was definitely the worst one of the bunch. He just doesn't have a very good speed and shot combo, especially now considering, there's so many good cards out. And the fact that he's rarer, so all of these cards are going to have more value, inherent value, just because it's not as easy to get them as the other ones that you can make. For example, Brian Leach, when he first came out, you could get him for like 500k, and his value went up because his card was very good, especially the slap shot from the point. And when he wasn't in packs, his value went way up. Now, Ted Lindsay, he's the one I would probably avoid. Back when he first came out, he was elite because, well, it was very early on in the game. His 99 speed is great, but his slap shot and wrist shot power are high, but his accuracy is really low, and it just kind of... You could use him. I was using him on defense for a while, but that accuracy is just kind of a mess because you just don't hit the net a lot from the point. The 94 Dennis Potvin, I just picked this up. This is a card I would watch for this week because the fact that he's going for so much cheaper, a lot of people are pulling him. I got him for under $1 million this morning, and he is definitely the best defensive card in the game currently as far as defenders go, in my opinion. The great slap shot, the 99 speed. He's now my first pairing, right D, replacing Brian Leach. 95 Jacques Plante, again, he's dropping in price a little bit because there are so many of them. I would not spend 500k on a goalie. I would go out on that goalie specifically. I would go out and make Grant Fuhr and then buy someone like, off the top of my head, All-Star Rene or Fleury. You could buy them both for the same price. You could get Jacques Plante. So obviously that's just a better beneficial. Marcel Dion, this is going to be the card that's extremely rare and expensive. I know Sod bought him. He's over $1 million for sure, and you're going to hold his value because once he's out of packs, he's a 95. It's a very good card. And obviously if you pack him, I would probably keep him because he holds his value and his stats are kind of meet up to where you'd want to be. But yeah, so the Jeremy Roenick cards that are in packs, there's multiple. Just talking about that real quick. So there's the 87 Sharks Jeremy Roenick, the 84 Kings Jeremy Roenick, 88 Philly Jeremy Roenick, 89 Phoenix and Chicago Jeremy Roenick. But all of these cards, it's kind of like the alumni where they have good shot but slow speed. He's not, I wouldn't recommend him, to be honest. I would sell him if you get him. As far as another set that was kind of cool, in packs are the 66 Jordan Tutus. If you get 4 of them, you can turn them into one of the 89s, and he's got like 98 speed, so he's definitely worth it if you can find them. I wouldn't go out and make him just because, I mean, he's rare and kind of a cooler card, but I probably would just sell the 66 if I did pack him because making the 89, it's just... it's good because of his speed, but his shot is really weak at this stage in the game. They also announced the alumni this week were the Devils. Nothing really all that good. The 91 Jason Arnott is huge and has a good shot, under 90 speed. Not usable at this point in the game, in my opinion. Maybe on center, just because you can get away with slower players on center, which he is, but again, I just wouldn't. And then you've got the 89 or 88 John McClain, same thing, under 90 speed. Bobby Holik, 91 speed but 83 shot. Avoid all of these guys, man. It's the same thing all year long. All of the alumni outside of the highest rated one are usually a pass, just because they're so slow, even though their shot is really good. You can put them on D maybe if you pair them with someone fast, but again, I would probably just avoid them. I would also like to mention that the Grant Fuhr and Owen Nolan with the Honda collectibles, those are going to be out of packs soon. Grant Fuhr is not going to be cheaper than he ever has been. I said that wrong. He's going to be the cheapest he's ever going to be right before this event ends. You want to buy the All-Star collectibles to make him right before the event ends, because once he's out of packs and you can't make him, his price is probably going to skyrocket because of that 4BU. If you're waiting to grab him, I would get him either today or tomorrow right before the event ends. Or sorry, today. So sorry, today would be the day that the event ends. I would get him today. Then there was the European releases of diamond sets. All of these 88 cards, they're really fast, but again, their shot's kind of weak. The only one that's kind of cool from what I've seen here is the 87 Jeremy Williams. He's got 93 speed, 89 shot, as well as Philip Gagula, the 87. Again, these are probably sells if you get them. They're worth more in coins than they are in packs. Now let's talk about the eSports recap. Man, what a weekend. So Saturday, I did play-by-play for the Washington and Tampa games, and they both had some crazy matchups. For the Washington one, what was insane was that there was only 5 of the top 16 were North Americans. Get this, 5 of the top 16 North Americans to get the winner spot bracket, right? It came down to 2 North Americans in the end, Canadians and C. Dangles. Unreal. They put on a great performance, knocking out a lot of Euros along the way. Then Canadians did end up winning over Dangles, who made a pretty crazy underdog run. But Canadians now booking his ticket to Washington. And then in the losers bracket, HK, Hockey Kings. Man, this kid he is definitely climbing up the power rankings for me. If you follow the esports power rankings that we do on TDIHockey.com, he's going to move up my power rankings. This kid has been playing nuts. He got knocked really early and had his first loss and went on this insane losers bracket run, beating out a ton of Euros and good players. Got to the finals, and Dangles, because he lost the winners bracket against Canadians, is the one he had to play. He dominated the game, absolutely hammered Dangles the whole time, but it was mentioned on my podcast last week. Kesso mentioned it specifically. If someone can get better at manual goalie, they're going to qualify for one of these tournaments. And we saw one of the craziest performances of manual goalie that we've ever seen. And Dangles got hammered in his own zone almost the entire game. Great plays by Hockey Kings, but Dangles made some insane manual goalie saves and ended up winning. Just a crazy game, and you hate to see it for Hockey Kings. Josh has played so well and just missing a Washington LAN again after placing in, I believe, the top 6 in the second qualifier. The run he had to go on to get here, you just feel for him. Then so that was 2 North Americans that actually qualified for the LAN, so that ended up being a total of 5 out of the 8, which is crazy when you think about it, because 3 of the first 4 were all Europeans. So the Washington LAN is now set, and it's going to be really, really fun to watch. I'm going to do a recap of who I think in the matchups and whatnot later on this week. The Tampa event, man, they're probably regretting the fact they included Euros, because, man, Duomi put on a performance. He locked up a spot. Terry, also another European, he locked up a spot. And then John Wayne, my boy John Wayne. He must have read my power rankings when I said that he needs to win or qualify for another tournament to stay in the top 15. He qualified. The Alaskan Assassin. He's the only North American player out of the top 4 for Tampa going to the LAN, because Kriketsi was the other one who qualified. So it's Kriketsi, Terry, Duomi, and John Wayne. And if you had to pick 4 people to pay travel for to go to the event, that's 3 Europeans and then 1 from Alaska. So, I mean, it's great, and it's going to be a crazy event. John Wayne's going to hopefully represent the North Americans well, and I'm excited that he got to go. The Minnesota event. Man, this was crazy because it was run by Face It, who did the Gaming World Championships, and it was single elimination again, which a lot of people, for obvious reasons, don't like, but it's how they run their tournaments. And so single elimination, you saw a lot of guys go down early or some big matchups early, and it resulted in some players getting knocked out before they, well, really should. One of the bigger games, Sitful versus Regs to go to Minnesota. Sitful ended up qualifying, so it's good to see him actually qualifying after the 5,000 hours he's put into the game. That was good to see. The other qualifier for the Xbox Minnesota Wild one was my boy Boosh. Let's go, kid. Finally qualifies for a LAN event. He's been playing fantastic so far this season, and he did end up making the LAN on another great run, and I'm super excited for him. In the PS4 Minnesota Wild LAN, this is the nuts one because it was all of the biggies because everyone had already done the Caps and Lightning the day before on Saturday, so this was all of the big-time players in one kind of one tournament in a best-of-1. And wouldn't you know it, that Young Gren and Josh Fearless, the two biggest rivals from NHL 18, qualified, and they're going to be going head-to-head in a Snyder Cup rematch from the Philly eSports event last year where Gren did win. These two definitely have a rivalry, and it's good to see that we're going to get a show in Minnesota. Hopefully they do get to play each other again. It's going to be a great one, so I'm super excited for him. So guys, that was just a quick recap of HUT content as well as the esports event this weekend. Doing a shorter one today. I'm going to go more in depth this week on each event, but I just wanted to get out the recap and whatnot for you guys, as well as the HUT things that I thought that you needed to know. So guys, again, thank you for listening. I'm No Sleeps 12, and please subscribe if you did enjoy the content. I'll see you guys tomorrow.